What's going on? My name is Astin and I rock. You're now watching and listening and vibing to Astin Rocks with the Freaks and Geeks, where I'm telling you what's really going on in the city beneath the trees. I'm here with the, are you a freak or are you a geek?
Oh man, I'm a hybrid.
Hybrid.
Astin Rocks with the Freaks and Geeks. Astin Rocks with the Freaks and Geeks.
So, okay. How did we meet? You want to talk about that first?
Oh yeah. We met at Atlanta Film Festival. No? Audio Video Club?
We did.
At Peter Street.
Yeah.
You were playing bass, and I think you bought a poster from me.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't remember. I don't think I've ever played bass at Audio Video Club.
You didn't. You said, yeah, maybe you were saying that you. Wait. But it was like a variety thing. Do you remember this?
Okay.
This is how we met. What do you remember?
I know I met you in Audio Video Club, but I think I met you. I actually remember meeting you for sure. Like, this is Brooke. It was ATL Film Party, but it was at Switch Odds.
Oh.
And the only reason I think that, because I have only played bass at Peter Street for my friend's birthday.
Then how did I know that you played bass?
I told you.
So, yeah, maybe that's it.
I don't know.
All I remember is that you were like, I'm Astin, I rock. Oh, Ola wanted to say that I called her and I was like, I'm doing something with Astin right now. And she goes, Astin rock! On the phone. She's like, and tell her I said that. Yeah, I remember maybe you bought a poster from Peter Street for me. It was like very much like a variety where everyone got like 5 minutes and they stood up and they said what they were about.
Okay.
And I was nervous. I was, first of all, the only white person at Peter Street Station.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to sell my company in front of a bunch of Black Gen Z millennials that were way cooler than me.
Oh.
But I was like, but my company is cooler than me. That is something that I know.
I vaguely remember the poster. Don't know what happened to the poster. But I do remember.
I have other ones in my car.
Okay. I do remember buying a poster from Random White Girl.
Yes, that's it.
And yes, it's slowly coming back. Well, how long ago was that?
That was before I was at Switchyards.
Okay.
So that was like, we did ATL Film Party. Maybe I'm going too far in advance, but we did ATL Film Party. We started in Adair Park at a DIY house. And there was punk shows there all the time. There was tattoo artists doing things there. There was like gallery stuff. And so that's where ATL Film Party started. And then it got too big and people were flooding out into the street off Oakland.
What?
And I was like, I need to move this before someone gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
So I moved it to Underground. So I think it was around when I was at Underground at a space called No Tomorrow.
I vaguely remember a space called No Tomorrow.
Yeah, it was the sound, the acoustics in there were god awful.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's gonna be so mad about me saying God on television or whatever, but sorry.
She does not have to see this.
She finds it. She's like a sleuth. I'm like, great, you heard my Spotify podcast about all that. Like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, we were at Underground.
Okay, and how long were you at Underground?
One time the acoustics were so bad that I left. Yeah. So we moved. The fourth one was at Argosy. Okay. And that was music videos with Artemis. So maybe that was the first one that you went to?
No, you know what's crazy? I had the first time I ever heard about ATL Film Party was because of Artemis.
Yeah.
That was the first one I'd ever heard of. And I remember it being in like May. And then I don't remember attending one until December. The one at
the best of.
The best of. Right. Where I voted for Ola. I told her.
I'm not supposed to have an opinion about anything when it comes to the films for ATL.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't have my hand.
I'm not supposed to have opinions about my job either, but girl,
I like don't vote. I'm never a jurist. I like don't do anything. I only count the votes, and I don't count the votes alone. I count them now with Bianca.
Okay. Okay.
So
I want to talk about what ATL Film Party is for the
Yes.
folks that don't know.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So ATL Film Party is a film competition that is about cultivating joy and appreciation for local filmmakers in Atlanta. So I saw that there was a huge disadvantage to being local and homegrown here for filmmakers because for the most part they're only seen as below the line value, right? Like,
Mm.
okay, so we're going to set up shop here from New York and LA and we're going to be the producers and we're going to be the writers and we're going to be the DP and we're going to be the director, and then all of your black and brown people that have built this city
Yeah.
are going to be below the line and they're going to get paid below the line too. And they're going to get appreciated just as much as the below the line people, but they can't
Bare minimum too.
bare minimum.
Bare minimum. They can't get the LA rates.
You won't get the LA rates. You'll barely get a trailer if you do get a trailer. And,
Yeah.
it's for me, like the inequity was so obvious when I came here, I guess a decade ago, to study, and I was just studying film theory. I didn't want to be on, I didn't want to do what I'm doing right now, really. I wanted to be a professor. But
Okay.
but I saw like this disparity, and I was writing for a trade magazine, and I was interviewing these filmmakers that were so passionate about what they were doing, like Ebony Blanding, Tang Ho, you have Asad Faruqi, you have all of these these people of color who really are just like pouring their spirit into their work, and then they're devalued by people that are outside, and for some reason the opinions of New Yorkers and LA are more valuable, and I never understood that.
How do you think now, have you seen a shift in that nature since you've set up shop? Like when you started doing this, have you seen a shift?
Yeah.
Can you
Pinpoint.
first I want to know, like you mentioned that you wanted to be a professor,
Yeah.
and then well, obviously you're not professing.
I'm not professing.
You're not-
I got offered an adjunct professor position at Oglethorpe to teach film theory.
Okay.
The first question they asked me is, what are you going to do aside from this to make a livelihood?
Mm.
And adjunct professors, like, essentially, like, if I wanted to get paid more than an adjunct professor, I was going to have to become a PhD.
Okay.
And grad school notoriously makes me go crazy. So I was just like, I'm going to put this little dream in my pocket, and maybe when I'm like, I get an honorary PhD from Harvard or something, I can become a professor that gets paid.
Right.
But not now.
Wage.
Yeah. And like something that actually, or maybe like it would be like some like side hustle that I do when I have a company that's like actually thriving. But no, I actually like became an intern again with a master's degree, and I worked at a coffee shop until things started panning out.
So while you were you making ATL Film Party while doing all these things? How did ATL Film Party come to be? Like, what was that like for you to organize and orchestrate?
The first thing that I'll say is, if you want to organize, you have to be observant and you have to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So like, instead of centering yourself in everything, like, oh yeah, how can I fix everything? You have to first sit down and you have to listen to the filmmakers that have been here for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, and you do that all the time. Like, your conversations with these filmmakers at Atlanta Film Festival are helping them break through. So it's like, you really have to sit down and be like, hey, I'm going to ask you one question and I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to let you talk for 45 minutes.
Mm.
And when you allow a filmmaker to have, especially a filmmaker that's been a gaffer and like been below the line for so long and hasn't been listened to,
Yeah.
it's like so important to listen to them and hear, okay, well, there's a disparity here.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. How does that make you feel? How does it make you feel to not be valued by the HBOs of the world, even though you're creating worlds that have never been even ideated before?
Yeah.
So those were the two things. And then what I kept hearing was, I'm not appreciated at film festivals that I pay money to be in. And I was like, okay, well, how can that change? Okay, well, maybe if I make something that's very, very, very grassroots and community grown, then we can get to a place where it will become cool to love on filmmakers that are here.
After listening and after creating the space, so how did you decide what ATL Film Party was going to look like? Talk to me about the process of choosing what films go in the competition, and then talk to me about like what that competition looks like day of, like when folks walk in.
Yeah, so I wanted something that was like democratic. I took like a feminist pedagogy class at GSU and I loved it, and it was about voting on what you put in the syllabus, right? So you let your students choose what they were going to learn. So newsflash, students don't want to watch D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation. And I wasn't going to make a predominantly Black student body watch D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation unless they told me that they wanted to watch it, right?
Yeah.
So it was stuff like that where I was like, okay, like how can I apply what I've been doing in grad school to this idea of a party that centers filmmakers? And I was like, oh, I want it to be a democratic vote.
Okay.
So you come into the party, and this all came like from kind of this idea of like gamifying things to make it popular and fun. And you come into the party, and the jurists are hand selected by me. That's the only thing that I get to choose is the industry professionals and the theme. There's themes for each round, and the themes change. So there's always an opportunity to submit a film that you have. So their first film themes were 2-minute experimental films, because I thought that was the easiest thing to get done for people.
And so the jury voted on that.
So all the submissions came in.
Okay.
And then the jury deliberated. I think we had like 20 something submissions the first round. And they chose, I think, 8 films in total. Okay. And we played them on loop in Sleepy House Gallery, which was the DIY house.
Okay.
It's now defunct. It's closed. But RIP. But we had it in this one completely white room with some couches and carpet to kind of like absorb the sound. And we threw the images on the wall, and we let them play on loop the entire night. Just because they were 2-minute experimental shorts, so you could kind of go in there and come outside. And it was right after vaccine rollout, so people were coming outside to party, and they would mask up and go inside and watch the films and then make their votes. There was a ballot box, which we still use today, and you throw your ballot in the box. Each film is numbered, and there's a sign for each film. And then we count the votes at the end of the night. And what we did at that point, the first one, was we collected all the money that we made off of. We asked everyone to put the votes in a ballot box, which we still have today. And we count the votes at the end of the night. And for the first one, we had a bucket of White Claws that we sold for $3 each. And we just gave all of the money to Ola and Olama and Colby, Colby was the DP of
Shout out to Colby.
Yeah, for sure. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like,
she's special.
Both of them, like, what they have created together is, for lack of a better word, so important to me.
Yeah. And
so important to like the entire ATL Film Party community. The importance of a house just moved everyone there. And it was almost unanimous. I mean, like, I counted the votes and I was like, oh, I have to give all this money to my best friend. Shit. People are going to think this is rigged. And yeah, so we handed them, I think, like $370.
Okay.
That's what it started with.
Okay.
And then slowly we started gaining sponsorships, and we started making it a standard $500 cash prize with a mentorship in the industry.
Okay.
That's when we started bringing on sponsors and we could prove what we were doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So that's the process going in. That's the film competition. And then Well, you did kind of explain like what people do, and you're spending like $3 on a White Claw.
Yeah.
Um,
Donation based.
donation based. Oh, so if somebody wanted to spend $5 on a White Claw,
Or if people didn't have money, they don't have to pay anything for a White Claw.
you just needed to get rid of the White Claw.
I put $175 in there, and I was pretty happy with the profit. Or I think it was like $3 a White Claw, and we had some seltzers for like $1 or something.
Okay.
Now we have White Claw is not a sponsor. Just letting you know. All right, Topo Chico is our sponsor.
Okay.
Pabst Blue Ribbon is our sponsor.
Yeah.
And Allagash Brewery is now our sponsor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congrats on the new sponsor.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That's a shout out to Kimry. So just saying.
I would like to know, okay, so now that it's very fascinating to hear all of the different places it's been. So it started in a DIY house. It went into another DIY house, which like, ew, this sucks. It was in Switch Yards. It's been in Peter Street, where I remember watching The Importance of a House there.
That's because Bianca and I like FaceTime one day through Videodrome.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Bianca and I met, through FaceTime. And it was just like, Bianca runs Audio Video Club.
Shout out to Bianca.
Amazing. And oh yeah, so Matt Booth, another shout out from Videodrome, told me that Bianca was this person who was doing magical things in Cabbagetown and like Peter Street Station, Castleberry Hill. And they were community screenings, but we were both doing similar things in a silo, right?
Yeah.
So,
I remember so Cinema Souterrain was what Audio Video Club did, and I think hers was all of the films by one person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was like very much like hers was curated with Artemis hosting it, Artemis Jenkins, and they would usually curate one short film and pair it with a thematic a movie with a thematic similarity.
Yes. Okay. I remember
So
that.
they found essentially we found each other, Bianca and I, and we FaceTimed each other. And we were like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good. How are you? Like pleasantries. And then all of a sudden I was like, no, seriously, how are you doing? And she was like, I'm burning out. And I was like, I'm burning out. Do you want to start working together so that we're not doing Sisyphus every single day?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah, I do. And she came on board as a sponsor or community partner of ATL Film Party for the music videos round. And we kind of just hit it off, and I gave her our database through Film Freeway so that she can kind of parse through films through all of the themes that we had. I gave her some specific artists and filmmakers that I really liked and wanted to see like more of, and she started putting them on at Peter Street.
Okay, got it. That's okay. It's nice to hear about that connection.
Yeah.
And so now that I hear you talking about how you've collaborated with Bianca, how you've essentially collaborated with your best friends, and now we've talked about like really listening to the filmmakers here who have kind of felt like they were left out in the cold. So now we're about like 5 or 6 years in, right? How do you feel like do you feel like you've created like somewhat of a third space? How do you think that now, 5 or 6 years in, it's impacted that shift that we kind of touched on earlier about like how it's shifted and like just people hanging out? Like, do you feel like it's an official third space, or do you feel like, nah, this is still like a competition for us, essentially? Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's definitely evolved into something something else. It used to be just a competition because that's all I had bandwidth for.
Yeah.
Then I applied for a grant, like a big grant. That was a gathering grant for Hinge, which is the dating app. And
okay, I remember seeing you in the picture with Carrie.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Hinge. I don't know what's going on, but I like this.
So they gave us $25,000. And then essentially I made it to a final round where they were like, we're giving these companies $25,000 each. And then I got a phone call a few days later. And they were like, hey, what if you came up to New York and shot content with someone that is of the Gen Z demographic? Because you are you are a millennial. And it was like, we're trying
Why
to do
you make
this.
that face?
Because
I know they're trying to associate
they're
millennial
like,
with old.
I know. But like, it was like, you know that moment where you're like, oh, I can start making a difference because I'm like a little bit older.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, you're a millennial, but we need the freshness of Gen Z. And I was like, I should cut that out. Hold on. Let me restart that. It was like, you're the millennial and you have the resources to build a company because they have a loneliness epidemic because they came of age during a pandemic lockdown where they weren't able to graduate high school. They weren't able to graduate with their friends in college. They literally had their youth just snatched away from them, and they don't know what it's like to date in a normal world.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
So we won based off of the fact that we were a third space together. And when they called me up, they were like, do you have someone that's been coming to your parties that's of the Gen Z demographic? And I was like, I called up Carrie and I was like, Carrie, when were you born? She was like, girl, what? And I was like, do you want to come to New York? So we shot content up there, and they gave us an extra, I don't know how to do math. They gave us $33,000 in total.
Okay.
And I was able to distribute that to a team through stipends that had been volunteering for me for free forever. And I finally was able to be like, hey, you get this much, you get this much, you get this much. And I broke it down. And now I have like 12 people that hang out with me and work on this like beautiful idea that I came up with out of like a pandemic lockdown.
That's really so now that that's done, do you feel like now I guess with the help of the Hinge grant, do Gen Z know that they can hang out at ATL Film Party and find their boo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially we're open to anyone. It's not just Gen Z, right? Like,
Yeah.
We're open to Gen Z, millennials, any Gen X, Gen Alpha. Like, you can bring your kids to ATL Phone Party if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And people do. Like, when I'm setting up, I'll put on monster trucks for my friend's kids. Like, and he's awesome. So it's just like, you go there and you find a community. And that's the main thing. You find people that you can work with. You find people that you can play with. You find people that you can date. You find people that you can just chill and commiserate with about how, for some reason, we're still almost lowest on the list for arts funding in this city and in this state.
Baby, I feel like that is just a Georgia problem.
Yeah.
I could, my boss goes on and on and on and on about it all the time. But when you look at, and I'm sure you have, but like on a list of 50 states, I think, or 51, on a list of 51 states, we're 50. We're 50th for funding the arts, like the state of Georgia is. Once I learned that, I just was like, yeah.
Were we above Alabama?
I think we're above, I'd have to look at it, but I want to say we're above like Alaska. I'd have to look at the list again. Let me look, actually.
For some reason, I thought we were 49th.
We might be. National Endowment of the Arts is trying to advertise itself.
Of course it is.
We are one state above Wisconsin. We are so sorry to the cheese state.
Yeah.
You know, the peach state, the cheese state.
I mean,
the Kansas City Chiefs are right above the Falcons, and then Texas, and then Colorado. Also, why is it orange? The state that made weed legal is like bottom 5 in funding the arts.
Yeah, they're still paying for that, for making weed legal, apparently.
I heard they do like a lot of meth. I'm so
the entire
watching this from Denver.
I'm gonna ask my sister, she lives there.
Put in the comments, are y'all doing a lot of meth? Like, what's going on?
But yeah, I mean, like, we are almost dead last in arts funding, so there's that scarcity mindset where it's like, even if you like get a seat at the table, like, you're like scared that you're gonna lose it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I could talk about Georgia all day, simply because like we're also like what dead last, if not almost, for minimum wage, and how that far that has not come, it being a right to work state. It's scarcity mindset, but it's also like, it's also making sure that that disparity never changes.
Yeah.
Um, and which is awful, because the arts have been bringing so much to Georgia in the last like 15 years.
Georgia has been bringing so much the arts.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I grew up in Miami. And we have Basel. So it's like
Yeah.
all of the artists. I've been seeing art my entire life.
Yeah.
I've never seen the soul in art the way that I do in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing that got us popular was the films that we show, and the
Yeah.
films have spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that just made me emotional. So to wrap this up, what is next for ATL Film Party?
ATL Film Party is going to go a little bit digital. We're going to figure out a distribution pipeline, so that our filmmakers can be seen more than by just their community, but worldwide. But before that, we are actually going to a paid model for attendance in order to support our team, that pours their spirit into every single event. And we are also going to have more events year round. So, what I'm learning is that, even though I want to include every single person in Atlanta in this, inclusivity doesn't always equal equity. And I want my team to have equity in this company. So we gotta start somewhere.
Well, Brooke, it was so good to hear from you and to talk with you today. Do you have anything to say to the freaks and geeks out there watching?
Listen to Freaks and Geeks, not just these.
Mm. Thank you. That's our time. My name is Astin Rocks. This is Brooke. Brooke, how do you say your last name?
Sonenreich is Sonenreich. People will correct you, but I am not German. Also.
Thank you so much for watching. This is our pilot episode. Let me know what you think in the comments. Where can they follow you?
At ATL Film Party. That's the best way.
And you can follow me at Astin Rocks. WHYASTINROCKS. Thanks again. Have a great life. Get freaky and geeky.